Happy Friday, everybody. It's Levack and Gaz, and this is my last show for a week. So, for those of you who hate me, congratulations. You only got to suffer through another hour. For those of you who love me, what the is wrong with you? But man, what a night, guys. What a night. I don't, man. I can't find my broom because I must have left it in Baltimore. Oh!
I don't know if it's like people at the dentist
this
that
little
try.
pen. This pen looks like a broom. Let me just.
Oh, dare you? People try to avoid the dentist. People try to avoid the doctor, test, everything, breaking up with people, I'm sure, in life. All these things. I tried as long as I could to stall before the show today, thinking oh no, if we just talk about everything else but this, the show will never. That's not how the show works. Eventually, you got to hit record. Eventually, you have to talk about it. Gosh.
Yeah.
Gosh.
If it makes you feel any better, it's the first Yankee sweep since before the All-Star break.
How does that make me feel better? It does not make me feel better. It does not. No, it doesn't.
Woo!
Okay, so we look back to the start of this series, and when you and I were previewing this thing, we're like, well, if the Orioles can, from my mindset, if the Orioles can at least have a split going to Cole, they're probably going to be a problem. They got to win the first two. Okay, that didn't happen. There weren't a lot of scenarios for Baltimore to get back into this thing and at least take 2 or 3. And then we touched a lot about the home run and what was and what wasn't with Alonso. But to me, this is all about Garrett Cole. Oh. I know I've been getting grief this week about quantifying performances in teams here in August as we get ready for future wagers and claims and everything else. This is another Cole start where you're like, that's the guy. That's the guy you've been waiting for, right?
It's a Cole world.
Cole world, real Cole world. J. Cole.
G Cole is what I'm sorry. He's been replaced. It's G Cole now, bro.
Forest Hills Drive.
Oh man, dude. I think the two biggest things for Yankee fans, obviously, yes, you need to start getting these kind of wins. You swept the Nationals right before the All-Star break, but you haven't swept a series since. You've had to reinvent the way you win. You've had to change the way you play because your big boppers have been bopped. They've been out. No offense, Matt. But this is what you needed to see. You get Garrett Cole to go out there and give you 6 innings. He threw 93 pitches, 70 of them were strikes. He was in front of almost all the hitters. Drogon's yodeling in the background because he's so excited about that game. And Yarbrough goes out and gets a 3-inning save. That's awesome because you didn't have to head to bed. You rested those arms. But the one that I think slips under the radar because of how good Cole was is Spencer Jones. If you look at Spencer Jones right now, he looked lost at the plate. He looked like a rookie, and he still is a rookie, but he's a plus fielder. He's now hitting for power. He's his last 8 games, he's hitting over 300. And last night's game, he was the offense. 3 hits. 2 runs scored, put one over the wall. This, his 6th home run of the year. And you'll love this, guys. I didn't want to see this, but if you look at his batting stance and everything now, he looks a little bit like that circus freak in LA. He is actually trying to emulate the batting stance and everything of Ohtani. But unlike Ohtani, he's not a coward. He plays defense. So that's good. But Spencer Jones coming through, Lombard, the baby bombers are real. And if you can get Judge back and you get, Bellinger back and Judge is hitting off a tee now, this could get very interesting down the stretch, the last 30 or so games.
I love the Spencer Jones take. I do. You and I have mentioned the stance, the swing, the thing he looks like at the plate. And I will say this about every single young prospect. Spencer Jones, welcome to the club, because this stuff, talking about being underrated, underappreciated, things that need to be noted. When you are him, that dude, him as the kids, the Gen Z are saying, because he's a big-time prospect. We know how good he is, physically, all that stuff. And they start sending you back and forth between the minors and the majors. I don't care how nice you are to the media and how wonderful you are in presentations. That it has to take a mental toll on you because everybody does not want to go back. I'll say this line till they grab the microphone from me. I love what Bud Poliquin, an old sports writer, said. AAA baseball is purgatory. That's exactly what it is. It's not hell. It's definitely not heaven. It's purgatory. People enjoy the heaven. People enjoy the big meals and Yankee Stadium and the bright lights. And and then he gets sent to Scranton Wilkes-Barre, and you're going to random clubhouse. The mental toll that can take on an athlete is so unique in the different athletes. There are seriously some players who can't handle that or will stomp their feet and pout and be babies and toddlers. Like, I'm too good. Look what I did in the majors. Look at the impact I had. Blah, 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 blah. Now you can say, look at all the social media views I did for your business. I got 1 million views when I walked into the clubhouse. I didn't even swing the bat. That stuff's real. And the fact that at least from the physical performance side of it, it doesn't look like it affected Spencer Jones, and he's a factor in this series. He's a factor in all these games against divisional teams. Yeah, I'm with you on that. I wish it was the opposite way where Jones stunk and Baltimore swept, but I think it's a great take by you, but we got to factor in the mental side of it too, that young guys in particular getting bounced around, at least from what we've heard, hasn't had an impact on him.
No, I mean, and if it has, maybe it's been a little bit of a positive one, because I've caught myself, what did your hero Mike Greenberg once say? We're paid overreactors. Like, there was a part of me that wondered, like, because when you look at these prospects that work and these prospects that don't, like, do you think the Mets had any idea how great Pete Crow Armstrong was going to be? I mean, they probably thought there was a chance, but they wouldn't have parted with him if they realized what he really was. So I see some of these organizations, and there's 100% the lying game going on. Like, oh, Spencer Jones is untouchable. Look at the size, the speed, the grace. He's like a gazelle on steroids. And then all of a sudden everybody's like, I need Spencer Jones. And you're like, oh, would you pot with Scuba? Like, I was wondering if he was a product of the hype machine. And listen, he might still be, but the last 8 games tell you that with Lombard, Jones, who knows? Maybe Volpe one day, but even Wells is like, maybe Wells isn't as great at the plate as you hoped he would be, but behind the plate and playing defense, like that's very important too. Like, these young guys are starting to come up and play and contribute, and you're seeing the farm system, and don't forget, like, Legrand, like, that's the dude. So if Legrand gets up and is part of the expanded roster for the playoffs and just maybe pitches out of the pen, gets some experience, you could be looking at a team next year that emulates that 96 team where you've got you bring in your big time badasses to help out, like your Tino Martinez's and all that. But you've got Aaron Judge, who's a homegrown talent. You've got Spencer Jones, George Lombard, Legrand. Your starting rotation is Cam Schlittler, Legrand, Cole, Fried. Oh, by the way, Carlos Rodon, if you want to be the 5th guy, that's fine. You can show up too. We won't send you home without lunch. It'll be fine. But like this, and obviously it should always be about this year. You're only 4 games out of first, and it looks like you're figuring it out. And I do pick on you and tell you how terrible your Orioles are. They're not great, but they are. I would say that you guys are the Mendoza line of the AL this year. Like, I think, like, you're the best of the worst, maybe the worst of the best. You know what I mean? Like, if you can do what the Yankees did to the Orioles, it proves you're very good. But the Orioles can do that to other teams too. So I think you could still be a wild card team, but I think you're more of you're definitely a team that should be looking at the next year or two, because you made some moves and you still have some talent coming up through the farm system. And you're still very young. You need some pieces, but not a terrible team that the Yankees just made look terrible.
I want to go back to that O's take. I'm just going to put a pin in that real quick, because I think that leads to a conversation I want to have with you about the Yankees in the next few weeks. Just one other quick thing on Spencer Jones, too. For those who don't remember this about Spencer Jones, senior year in high school is 2019. I think people know where I'm going with this, right? So his senior year is 2019. He gets hurt, misses most of his senior year in high school, still decides I'm going to go to Vanderbilt on a scholarship. I got drafted, I believe it was by the Angels, late. I'm going to go to Vandy. 2020's COVID. So he doesn't play in 2019. His season gets canceled in 2020. He gets Tommy John surgery in 2021. So remember that whole like mental thing I was talking. This kid went 3 years basically without playing baseball, and then comes back as a stud, stops pitching. And so those are things to factor into. Like, it's not like he never got hurt before. He missed 3 years of his career where his life could have been different. Okay, back to that Oriole take, and it's going to lead to this conversation about the Yankees. This is a weak answer, but I think truly with this roster, it's a true answer. And this happens more so in pro sports, a little bit in college, of I wish they didn't play in the AL East this year. You know, can I get us to the AL Central? Can I get us to a different division? Because seriously, like Baltimore is the team that had to play so many games against the Red Sox and the Yankees and Rays that just out of the math of this year, you would have thought they would have benefited. It could have been the West. It could have been the South. How about anywhere else but the AL East? They probably just would have won more games, which is a weak answer, but it's a true answer. And then now I flip it over to this. We see in a sport like college football, if you're the second best team or a top 4 team, I should say, you get a bye to the quarterfinals. In the NBA, it still matters about records when it comes to seeding and everything else. Hockey, you see where I'm going with this. Levack, there's a really good chance that the Yankees are going to be the second best team in the American League. We saw the battle last season involving the Blue Jays and the Yankees and where this was going to shake out going towards September. I want to make sure I get my numbers right. I want to say it was. Yes, I was right here about this. The Blue Jays and the Yankees finished with the best records in the American League. But the Yankees didn't get the number 2 seed, and for the second consecutive year that could happen. You ready to start complaining to Major League Baseball? I know I asked you this question last year too. That the top 2 records rather than the wild card team should get those buys.
No, the system is the system, and I'm good with it. Like you should be rewarded for winning your division. It's not your fault your division sucks. You know what I mean? Like it's not, like that would be, for me that would be the same as saying, Tampa Bay should never get a top seed in the NFL because the NFC South is garbage. That's it. You should be rewarded for winning your division. I 100% believe that. So if the Yankees want the top seed, they're 4 games back. You're 4 games back with plenty of time to go. Clock is ticking. It's in front of you. Go win the games. Go. And the Yankee schedule is not great either. I mean, it is what it is. You play who you play, but you're starting with the Blue Jays tonight, then the Astros, then the Red Sox, then the Angels. That just rounds out this month. In September, you got the Padres who are hot. You got the Rockies. That'll be a fun series. Mets, who look like they're finally figuring it out, Twins, Diamondbacks, but you have 4 against the Rays coming up, and you finish the season at home against the Orioles. So your schedule is in front of you. If you want, you don't want to play in the wild cards. If you don't want to do that, win baseball games. Win baseball games.
Beat them. That's it. Beat them.
Yeah.
You got to beat them.
Yeah.
Doesn't matter.
Yeah.
So look, the bye's a massive factor because you've mathematically advanced to another round. But it is better for the whole sport, and sometimes those conversations have to be had of like, hey, yeah, the Rays and the Yankees are better in the East, but there was a lot of fun things to follow when it's the White Sox or the Rangers or whoever, the Astros. The Twins are back in the mix here. Whoever's fighting for that second bye makes baseball better as a sport, more compelling. Same for college football. Who's fighting for those final March Madness? It really is more of an exciting product when that's happening. I love that take. Guess what? You didn't beat them, but you had a chance just like everybody else for 162. And if you think you're the second best team in the American League, here's a 3-game series. Not a 1-game winner take all. Here's your pitching staff. Here's your team. Here, go beat them. We're going to give you 2 out of 3 chances to beat them. Go right ahead and prove to us that you are the second best team, or even the top team in the American League. Yeah, I'm with you on that. I'm glad with no readjustments. No, I didn't hear him there about it.
He's like straight yodeling. He's running up and down the stairs behind me, yodeling.
We're going to get to the Raiders coming up here in a second. I want to talk about Mohawk on it, but could we just quickly, for our visual audience, admire how great our beards are real quick? Look at this. You and I have a very similar style beard going right now.
Well, but mine's professionally done. Yours is...
Mine's okay. Yeah. Mine's... Yeah. Because we're both going with the thicker goatee, like under, but like a Finn Balor, little like on the side. Wow.
I've got like a fade. If you look.
Yeah, you do.
I get mine.
Look at that.
I get faded up. So I go to Bertie's Barber Shop, and my guy Sean takes care of me. And though I'll tell you right now, careful, don't test Sean. Don't test this gangster, because he will out poop talk just about anybody. He's right there. So
I was thinking about shaving my head, but I got it like a little. I might go back to the bald look again because I'm noticing this hair is not growing as fast as it did.
You got a 5 head now. It's running. Your hair is doing what small children do. Run away from your face.
It's very Peyton Manning like. Can we talk? Let's talk. Yeah, go ahead.
But if you went and got it done right, like if next time you're in town, go over to Bernie's. If you got everything cleaned up one time the right way, you'd be like, oh, wait a minute. I'm not, I'm all right. I can make this work. That's your problem is you're cheap. That's your problem.
I'd say I'm efficient, some would say.
Yeah, but that would be you. Everybody else would say you're cheap. So,
Mohawk Honda wouldn't say that to me because Mohawk
yes, they
Honda
would. Yes,
appreciates
they
me.
would.
Mohawk, what am I looking for deals at Mohawk Honda and affordable vehicles that can help out my family? Okay, maybe. Mohawk Honda can help you find those same vehicles, and you can label them however you want with your friends and family. Affordable, the right fit, finding out the right stuff, whether it's used, pre-owned, new, whatever,
Right
whatever
stuff?
terms you
Oh,
want to
oh,
use.
oh,
Right.
oh, oh.
Mohawk Honda will help you find that ride. I know from experience, we are taking this. Well, I'm going to find out what my wife tells me. We're taking one of these vehicles, either the Odyssey or the Pilot, to camping this weekend with the boys. Nice, fun adventure with cousins and family and all those things. So we're off camping this weekend. They get most of it. I got to do something on Saturday involving the pregame show. But we're taking the ride an hour plus away. Make sure that ride's enjoyable and the kids have fun and they get to have those fun summer experiences and more. Those are the vehicles that you can find: CRVs, Honda Pilots, Honda Odysseys, and more. We will be back. I'm excited to announce more of our schedule coming up on September 14th for a live show at Mohawk Honda. We've got 3 live shows pending. Levack mentioned, just quick jamming a programming note here. Levack's off next week. We got 3 shows coming up. We got a fantasy football preview, a Travers preview, and a college football preview. And then you and I are back together on August 31st. We got about another 45 minutes of the show left. But Mohawk Honda is a proud sponsor of the show, and we appreciate them. Here I go with my pen and Digger Phelps style. It's Mohawk Honda, where they always go out of their way to please you.
It's weird the way you hold it, though. Like, you hold it like you're Harry Potter. Like, you.
So, this is a true story.
Nuttiness.
When I was in kindergarten and first grade, I had to take OT, right? You had PT at OT because we have those little tests of like what you have to do. Because when I was a kid, here's how I'd hold the pencil. I'd have
that's how lefties usually hold their pencils.
Right? Yes, exactly. But just as time passed, my fingers got so much bigger, I could hold it the right way. But yeah, as you see me, like, can you imagine just like I'm fine now. I got to get out of class in first grade for those OT lessons. Nonetheless, let's talk about Raiders and Texans now. Levack, over and over and over and over again on ESPN, they keep showing Fernando Mendoza's pick 6. Welcome to the world of social media, reels, clips, and viral moments. What are your overall thoughts on Fernando Mendoza? And we can focus in on the pick 6 if we want. That's fine. He's only done his second one his entire career. Your thoughts on your Raiders and your Raiders versus the Texans last?
Listen, that interception sucked. I was out to dinner with some friends, and it was on TV, and Mike Washington just had that big run, so it was like it sucked. It was not cool. But the bottom line is he looked so good, with the exception of that throw, and even that throw, I think that interception spoke more to the readiness and how well coached the Texans defense is than it did to whether or not Mendoza is ready to play, at some kind of NFL level. But listen, he's a rookie. It was his second game. It was his first start. He made so many good calls. That was the one where they tricked him. You know what I mean? That was the one where they were like, "Oh, look, your receiver is open as long as you don't throw it right here." It was. I think that was more of a compliment to Houston than an insult to Mendoza. But I think he looks fine. I think he looks good, and I think the fact that the offense still focused on running the ball when Aiden O'Connell was in there, and they did what they did, good things. The goal should be for Kirk Cousins to start the season. As much as rabid Raider fans and crazy people want to see Mendoza start game 1, and I know that Kubiak's not helping anybody by saying, "Yeah, I got another week. I'm not going to name my starter for another week." Like, I think the goal should be for Kirk Cousins to start. So everything's fine. It's preseason. He still says and does all the right things. I thought you were going to open with him calling Jack Buck Mr. Buck and Troy Aikman Mr. Aikman in his halftime interview. I thought that was what you were going to talk about, but no, I think dude, if you're not excited about watching this kid play, I don't know what you want. Like, everybody who complains about people getting in trouble and saying the wrong things and doing the wrong things, like, he's a nerd in the best possible way. So I'm super excited about the future of Mendoza with the Raiders. I think he made some really nice plays, and he made one really bad one.
The Sirs, I'm not going to ever criticize somebody for being extra polite, the sirs and the mister stuff, like no criticism. There is going to be a funny moment at some point, whether it's a year from now, 5 years from now, or all of a sudden he's talking to like Scott Van Pelt and just calls him Scott, and Scott Van Pelt's like, "Hey, how come I didn't get Mr. Van Pelt? What happened? Are we? I thought everybody else was getting the sirs and the." At some point, he will transition out of that, and it will be clunky, and somebody was going, "Hey, I thought I used to call everybody sir and mister. That's weird." The Mendoza thing that you like a minute ago, right? They tricked him. It's a preseason game. My gosh, Andrew Luck threw a bunch of pick sixes when he debuted. Jameis Winston threw a lot of his career through pick sixes, but that stuff happens in week one to rookies, and defensive coordinators are licking their chops to set up a defense to trick somebody. That play, you're right. It kind of sets up. That? I did that one. I heard that one. I heard that play sets up Mendoza trick. But let's say this again. Watch the play because they've only played it over and over and over and over and over and over again on ESPN and every social media platform. I'm telling you, that's a first down against Rutgers. That's a first down against Oregon State and Michigan State. Mendoza's made that throw a ton of times in his career. He just hasn't seen a player make a play like that. That's where you shrug your shoulders and you're like, okay, I can't make that throw anymore. Okay, these defensive backs, and I know a rookie does the pick six. I know there's some irony to that, but like, hey, welcome to the NFL, kid. The throws you used to be able to make in college, you can't make anymore. You'd rather obviously see that throw happen in week 2 of the preseason than week 1 of the regular season. He's going to learn that it sucked that it was Thursday night in front of a national audience. And yeah, you move on. We probably forget he even made that throw 3 weeks from now if he's playing well in the regular season. Back to your point about Houston. Boy, they're pretty good. Boy, they're pretty good. Like, whoa. They got the covers. Oh, my gosh. Like, they got the cover of Sports Illustrated, which for older fans, that means a lot. For younger people, they don't really care. But the team that's on the cover of Sports Illustrated going into an NFL season, it's like, whoa, this is like the team that's going to take the next step. And Houston's been right there. How much does Knuckles, David Montgomery change that offense? Will CJ Stroud just flat out be better? Well, the offensive line, because that defense, I know Denver, you could argue, has got the best defense in the NFL, but if they just got better with players like that on Houston, whoo, baby.
Joe is taking over. Right but if I don't do this, he's gonna just yodel. So he knows I'm leaving. There's no doubt in my mind this cat knows I'm leaving. Yeah.
I don't think I'm gonna pick the Texans to get to the Super Bowl. I don't think you are. But by the time people put out their Super Bowl picks, I believe they're gonna be, second. Oh man. Maybe they're going to be by the time September rolls around. I don't know. Houston might get the most AFC wins out of national reporters by the time this happens in about 2 weeks.
I don't know. CJ Stroud still. I'm not there on CJ Stroud because and listen, it hurts me to say this. The Raiders are 100% a work in progress. You know, Leonard is taking over as the DC. Like he was the defensive line coach, so he's still figuring out what he wants to do. And Kubiak's a rookie coach, and they added so many different people. Max Crosby didn't play. The one thing I will say about Houston to keep an eye on, and Dave Montgomery, I think if you're not targeting him early in your fantasy football drafts, you're making a mistake because I think at least, especially in the first half of the season, I think he's going to be special. But Sincere McCormick, he was the leading rusher in the game for Houston. That guy was on the Raiders last year, or has been on the Raiders, and I've watched him, and it's like he's had big games when everybody else didn't, and he was running behind that Raiders line. Keep an eye on him. Just keep it I'm not saying pick him up, as your last draft pick in a fantasy draft or anything like that, but definitely have him earmarked somewhere on your waiver wire. Because if something did happen to Montgomery, or even if he ends up on a different roster that doesn't have a starting running back, I think that guy could be 80 yards a game and a touchdown here and there. I think he's got burst, he's got quick, and again, he's always run behind crappy offensive lines, so he might actually be something worth watching this year.
Deep leagues, you got a final flyer on a round. A lot of people like being goofy in that final round and taking some crazy. Just keep him on your bench.
Yeah.
Rather than, if you're in leagues that you got to bid on for waiver wires, or you just have like waiver wire order, which is mostly how it goes, just let them sit there and see what happens.
Yeah.
Keep them till October, because you're probably not going to get the bye weeks till then anyways. And if you have smaller leagues,
Actually,
fine.
he's going to be trash. Don't even look at him because I'm in like because I'm in fantasy. I know the people that I'm in fantasy team leagues with watch this. So don't. He's crap. He's garbage. Sincerely, Sincere McCormick is garbage. No, he's really good. I think he has a chance to break out.
Thank you for the people who listen to the show. I felt very good today about people wanting to be in that fantasy league. So some people are in, some people are out. I was like, oh, we'll do 10. Oh, we'll do 12. That's creeping to 14 now. So that's very cool.
Yeah.
And I know we mentioned on yesterday's show.
Okay.
Yeah, me too. We get to play everybody wants.
I don't like going too many teams in leagues where you put big money in. But like we're talking about, it's either going to be a free league or we're only going to ask for the amount of money it takes to have some kind of like gathering at the end. So, and by the way, to most likely be at Herbie's Burgers because that's where we can get the most bang for our buck right now. But yeah, no, it's very cool. And the people are reaching out to me. Like I'm not, Gaz is the commissioner of this league. I'm just going to be a douchebag and make trouble and win the whole thing. And then whoever comes in second, whoever I beat in the championship game will get our prize pack that we're building.
That's right.
Yeah. The highest ranking non-Levack or Gaz at the end of the season gets the prize pack that we're building.
Love it. Yes. And sign up today. That draft's scheduled for the day after Labor Day. I know most people do their drafts on Labor Day or that weekend. So we're going to try to do that Tuesday. And if you're listening now and still want to be a part of it, DM us, leave us a message on social media. We'll continue to add to that league. Yeah. I think I like your idea. It's either going to be a prize pack or all your money is going to go to a big party around January for all of us to get together, have beers, watch games, and all that fun stuff.
Before we get, okay, I just want to be clear. I'm putting together multiple T-shirts, things like promotional items that I found inflatable Pabst Blue Ribbon koozies. Okay,
Ooh.
I have inflatable. So for the pool, you can have your beer, or the lake. Like I found those. I'm gonna put some of those in this. Like I'm everything I find that I don't have a home for anymore because I'm not in radio. By the way, yesterday was National Radio Day. It's over, and so is my radio career. So now we'll celebrate
that social media post. It was a late one. Just had to send it off at 11:30.
It was like 10, I think. It was late, but it wasn't too late. Like I'd recently gotten home. So, but I thought it was funny that everybody's going crazy over National Radio Day. And I'm like, that used to mean something to me. But yeah, so it'll be a good prize pack, and then again, any money that we do decide to pull in will exclusively be to make sure that we can all get together. But again, not shipping anything. I'm not putting money out to ship you your prize. You have to come get it or meet us at one of our live events that we're going to do over the course of the season.
Which, speaking of, we're going to get to these New York teams coming up in week 2 preseason, what it means, players to look out for, storylines, and more. One other 20-second mention there, Herbie's Burgers. If you're listening to this on a Friday, the opening on Lark Street is 4 o'clock. Get over there. Levack and I had an opportunity to check it out. You're going to be blown away by some of the stuff in a burger place. It doesn't feel like your traditional burger place. You've got stuff to do. It's an experience. It really is being hyped as an experience. It's not just get a burger and go. Arcade games, televisions, places to sit. It's a really cool place. We're looking forward to doing some more stuff with Herbie's Burgers. We appreciate Dan and his team over there.
They're not giving you any money, guys. Stop kissing their ass.
Don't forget to follow them on Instagram.
No, yeah, especially you see more. There's a lot more Boston Dan in their social media for Herbie's than there ever was for Hooters. So already a fan of that. All
right, let's talk about these week 2 games coming up here. Let's start with the Friday one, 7 o'clock tonight. It's the Jets taking on the Steelers. Aaron Rodgers not scheduled to play against his former team, as he said preseason is, quote, not real football. I think as much as people disagree with Aaron Rodgers, they might be right about that take. Cade Klubnik likely to see more action on the Steelers side of it. Looks like they're going to trot out some young players as well to see more reps with that, obviously because Rodgers isn't playing. The storyline to me in this game is who's going to be the running back to get more carries in the backfield. Braylon Allen's scheduled to be the second back for the Jets with the recent injury to Breece Hall. This is welcome, speaking about fantasy football, welcome to, I don't know who I believe. I've seen reports out there that Breece Hall's out for 2 weeks. I've seen a report out there that Breece Hall's out for a month. I don't know who and what to believe. Well, that's the storyline I'm the most intrigued by tonight. Who are the ball carriers for the Jets? Anything jumping out to you in the 7 o'clock Friday night kickoff?
I'm actually curious to see how Aaron Rodgers reacts to this game. You know, like because there's you as much as you can pretend that you don't care about how everything went down with the Jets. I bet you if the Steelers go out and ball out, especially the young little the little clones, of Howard and Aller, like if they ball out, I bet you he looks pretty pumped up on the sideline. Maybe not full Max Crosby from last night, but I'm going to watch Aaron Rodgers. I, I I don't really. I think Cade Klubnik is the story that I'm always going to be paying attention to because I think the very very different situation for the Jets versus the Raiders, where like for the Raiders, perfect world, Kirk Cousins plays well enough that you don't see very much Fernando Mendoza this year, but bad enough that you still end with a top 6 pick, and then you get your wide receiver, your number one. But for the Jets, I think if Cade Klubnik can prove that he deserves the title of future quarterback or start franchise or whatever, eh, that's huge for you because now no matter what you do this season, you can go out, try to win a bunch of games, protect Aaron Glenn's job and all that stuff, and know that you've got your guy who's going to be under center next year or the year after. So I'm Cade Klubnik, his maturity, his maturation process. That's number one story for me if I'm a Jets fan.
Yeah, I October, November, maybe never. I don't know what the future is for Cade Klubnik. There's a chance that us doing this conversation in August about Klubnik leads to him being a significantly good quarterback because Geno Smith either gets hurt, gets benched. Could be. There's also a chance Geno Smith's average and the Jets get to 4-13 and they have a top 5 pick and the next quarterback's Arch Manning or Sam Levitt or we know the name, Lenore Seller. All these names are going to be talked about upcoming. Mensa from my so that's the hard thing here with Klubnik. And doing that conversation, my gosh, we got a time machine into this in August of 2025. Whoa, the Jets, if they stink, they got the number 2 pick. They can take Cade Klubnik with the number 2 overall because he was in the mix last year as the best quarterback in the country, which is bizarre how I shouldn't even say bizarre because it's now becoming a trend with NIL and transfer portal and everything else. That's a very, very interesting cons. And if it wasn't the Jets, sorry, Jet fans, I feel like I'm piling on here, but like if it wasn't the Jets, that's more compelling. But my gosh, how many years have we done this where a young quarterback who's just on the roster gets trotted out there for a start? I know the Browns are famous for the t-shirt jersey, but a lot of guys have played quarterback for the New York Jets over the past, what do we want to do? Post Fitzpatrick? Probably, that was the one that really got close to the postseason, and some tiebreakers go a certain way that year. They're probably in.
Yeah, I would go. Yeah, I mean, the Raiders still are worse. I think the Raiders are the worst over the last however many years, like the most starting quarterbacks. But the Jets are in that conversation. And again, you're not going to give me a bunch of wins this year, but give me hope. And if you can, and as much as I know a lot of Jets fans don't love the coaching staff, if you can be good enough that you don't have to reboot the coaching staff, if you can show that this is working, that your maturation process, again, I'm using that. I must have heard that somewhere recently because I can't stop freaking saying it. If you can prove that the coaching staff is doing what the Lions coaching staff did, and it's getting better, and it is the right staff, that if you don't have to hit reboot again, that would be gigantic. And with Frank Reich as your offensive coordinator, I think you have a chance to get it done. You have a chance to be special. So hopefully, again, I'm not a Jets fan. Probably, if I'm being completely honest, I probably don't really care how it goes. But I do know. I know a lot of Jets fans, and I wouldn't mind. I would love an AFC championship game in the next 2 to 3 years, Raiders versus Jets. I would love that. I think that would just, yeah, it would just be something nobody's. If it could happen in 2 years, that'd be great. That'd be wonderful. But I'm not going to hold my breath.
I'm pretty sure there's a Colin Cowherd graphic out there that says AFC title game, New York Jets versus Cleveland Browns. I think that's the graphic because they all had new quarterbacks. It was Baker and Darnold right around the end of the 2010s that they thought those, and that was when the Browns were doing Beckham and Landry and Baker and all that stuff. So that graphic is out there somewhere of the Jets getting back in contention, which is a perfect segue here to the Browns. The Browns take on the Buffalo Bills, 1:00. Quick personal plug. You can listen to me on the Score 1260, 9-11 for Buffalo Bills game day with Gaz. And then the kickoff set for 1:00.
Is that the
For
name of the
me,
show? Game Day with Gaz?
Bills game day.
Bill's
With
Game
guys.
Day with Gaz?
Yeah.
I think we should
You
have
would have
workshopped
liked you would have liked something.
that.
What would you have liked better? There was a
Uh,
long workshop with that. There wasn't. I was like, can we just call it the Bills pregame show? And they said no. I was like, okay. And then I read the press release. I'm
Bill's
like,
Game Day with Gaz is better than that, but it's I don't know. It's missing a certain something. I think
it
there's
is
usually
an L and an E.
yeah. Now you got it. Yeah.
Don't worry, we'll get to
What,
that in
is,
10
is
minutes.
there
Like,
money?
I see
Is there money?
I see a banner that says local media talk. Don't worry, we're getting to that next. At some point, the PTI things for the YouTube people can scroll ahead to what they want. Here for the Bills and the Browns, I'm finding this matchup of Josh Allen. See you in September. DJ Moore, we saw enough. See you in September. The quarterback who's going to back up Allen. Okay, maybe here's your tryout to figure that out. This is all about Cleveland to me. Deshaun Watson's contract finally is over in 2026 this year. I know he's making some headlines there locally in Cleveland this week. They're being asked whether or not he cares if the home fans boo him. He said, no, I don't care. Deshaun Watson, how about this stat? Since 2021, that is 5 NFL seasons. He has played a total of 19 games. Are you kidding me? 19 games in 5 years. Some of that didn't have to do anything with injuries. Some did have to do with injuries. Deshaun Watson had a double-digit lead with the Texans against the Chiefs in the late 2010s. Demanded a trade. His whole life, his whole career changed. We know what happened off the field. And a lot of the reasons the Browns fans are booing him may be less about football and more about what happened off the field. Shedeur Sanders, you and I have completely disagreed about Shedeur Sanders. Levack, I know you're not a Shedeur Sanders fan. You're not a Watson fan. But for me, that's the most intriguing thing for this Bills-Browns. Nothing to do with Buffalo. Who's the starting quarterback for Cleveland for week one? Do you think that could be decided in this matchup against Buffalo?
I think it's decided when the check clears. I think Deshaun Watson's going to be your starting quarterback. I don't. If you're a Browns fan, God bless you. You might. I think the Browns will put on a good performance against the Bills this weekend. I think because I think this is what they're suited for is trotting out talent, people fighting for position, stuff like that. But I don't know how much the Bills care about this game. Like I think what you'll see is that again we'll see that revolving door on defense as they continue to figure out how their depth chart is going to work on defense. If anything, if I was going to predict this game, I would say low scoring, which means it's going to be like 80 points. But the Browns and the Dolphins might be the two most depressing stories of the year for me. Like there's just something about both of those rosters that I look at them and I just go, weren't you both supposed to be on the path to good? Like, weren't you both on your way? And now it's complete reboots and starting over. And I think what you see is the Bills will be a fundamentally sound team that's not talented enough to compete with other NFL teams. That's the storyline I expect for the Bills all year long.
I don't want to make this political, but this is the first thing that I think about when I think about the Browns quarterback room. Like in the 2008 election, the Democrats basically ran with Obama and their pitch was anybody but Bush, which didn't make sense because Bush wasn't running, but okay. And then 2020, the Democrats did that with Biden. They're like anybody but Trump, and Biden won in 2020. Not here. I don't want it. Let's just move on with that 2020 election. The point I'm making is like, I don't know if it's Shedeur Sanders or Dylan Gabriel or it's more of anybody but Watson. Who's in the room? Great. We'll take him. Anybody but this guy. Because of what he's done, how he's acted, the performance, he just hasn't been on the field. There's little to no argument that the contract's one of the worst in the history of the NFL. Not because of guaranteed money. I think one day we'll find guaranteed money for players, and they probably do deserve it because of the physicality of the game. But less about and more about the performance. That he just didn't play. Nowhere close to living up to what they wanted. But Cleveland at that point, post-Baker, was desperate, and Deshaun Watson was really good, besides his baggage that he carried along with him to Cleveland. But the rational way we get to Shedeur Sanders as a starter doesn't make sense, which frustrates me because it makes it seem like you're right on this Shedeur Sanders argument we've had since he came into the league. Like, Shedeur was okay last year. Average for a rookie quarterback. Shuck was better last year. Some rookies were better. Some rookies were worse. Jackson Dart was better by the tail end of the season. Shedeur was average for a rookie quarterback on a bad team. The problem is, well, he should be the starter because we want Watson out at the end of the year. No. Not a good enough reason. Well, he should be the starter because he performed better than Dylan Gabriel. Not a good enough reason. Well, we need to know if he's the future. He's like a 6th-round pick. Nobody does that. You just said it. They'll take somebody in the 1st round. So the way we're getting to Shedeur Sanders being the future of the Cleveland Browns is not the rational right answer. The answer for the 3rd time this week, go watch that stupid short we did about Phillip Rivers. That's our highest short. Who is your best quarterback? If it's Phillip Rivers and his 9 kids, if it's Spencer Rattler, if it's Bernie Kosar, just put the best one on the field. That doesn't necessarily mean if Watson gets into 3-1, you got to give him another $200 million. Or that if Shedeur Sanders is playing well, you got to sign a 6th-rounder. Did I mention Sanders' deal's up at the end of the year too because he's a 6th-round pick? So just put the best one out there. Figure it out. I do believe that's going to play a factor.
That's if you're trying to win. They're not at win. They're not a win now team. You don't let Myles Garrett go if you're trying to win. And listen, big fan of Funkers, big fan. But this is a different. You're talking about what it should be. Every game try to win. Every play try to win. Everything. There's teams out there right now that are not trying to win. And as far as the Browns go, you're already embarrassed a lot of things you've done. You're trying to not be extra embarrassed about the biggest potential contract ever because it was fully guaranteed. Like remember, the other league owners started sharpening their pitchforks and lighting their torches to come after the Browns because of that fully guaranteed contract. So like if you can salvage that in any way and not look like a total moron on it, they're going to go for that. That's a win for the Browns. Just looking like they have a GED, not a college diploma. Like, you know what I mean? Like that's what the college degree. I mean, that's a win for them. It's just looking like they belong and they have an understanding of football.
Let me clarify something about Sanders' deal too. It is a 4-year deal. That is very uncommon for players drafted that late. Like either you're an instant impact player or they think you're going to be an instant impact player. There's guys in the 6th and 7th round who will make a roster. Like that's a very rare deal for the 4th. And if you really want to get annoyed by Shedeur Sanders, there's stories out there from this spring about how he actually made it like closer to $20 million, or he's going to make $20 million because of the endorsements and royalties and jersey sales. And that's just for people who are annoyed by Shedeur Sanders. So that story's out there too involving him. I don't even know if I have a rooting interest in that. I would like Shedeur Sanders to play because
you do.
Gives
you
us
do.
more content to talk about.
Because you were so into him. And the fact that this might be the rightest I've ever been on the show about him just not being an NFL quarterback. You would love for him to go out and be an NFL quarterback. Not even a very good one, just to prove he belongs on a roster. You would be all over that. I think you froze. Did Gaz freeze? Or did I freeze? I think Gaz froze. Look, Gaz's hot take burned up his internet. That's what's going on over there. There you are. I lost you for a second. This is the kind of positive, just greatness that you only get from Levack or Gaz. As Gaz continues to, I don't know if we can edit this and get it fixed, but I'm assuming Gaz is the one who went down because all my internet is still working as we do the preseason preview and all the other fun stuff. Man, yeah, he gone. As we've said, I'm going to be out all next week. There'll be some fill-in guys for you. Hopefully, Gaz's internet gets fixed between now and then, so that he can be a better part of the show when I'm not here to cover it. There you are.
You hear me on a Friday? I'm not. That's like the 3rd time in like the history of this show and our new format that I was going to make a point that I was right about, and somehow the feed cuts. I'm blaming you, Drogon. I'm blaming you.
How is my
section cut out?
How is my cat affecting your connection? Maybe pay your bill. I don't know. I mean, you know what it is.
Is that why they emailed me? Is that why they emailed me the minute after we disconnected? I'll pay my bills when I'm good and ready, people.
How many kids are in your house on the internet right now? That might be the problem. You might be on a little Wi-Fi chokehold over right now.
I'm noticing my in-laws are pulling in too right now. They might be hopping. Anyways, all right. So we're Shedeur Sanders. I hope he plays well. Back to that point, just so I can say. By the way, Colorado might stink too. I don't know if you've seen some of those videos. Dion's like kind of there. He's getting subpoenaed about stuff. Colorado Buffalo, like they're like the kings of social media. They have so many people on their content team. And be like, are they trying out a JV team this season? I think that's 7 against Georgia Tech in week 1. We'll talk more about that in a couple of weeks. I might join what most people did 2 years ago and start betting against the Buffs. Let's get to this local media talk conversation. I see you're out there taking pictures with our bosses on former bosses.
Whoa. I don't have bosses.
How would you phrase it?
That's not my boss. That's former boss.
Let's say influential people in the capital region media world. You already talked about your disdain for radio people. Here I am out plugging the Score 12-6. What's going on with you? I think people like the hot tea.
For radio people. I'm just not one of them anymore. Like I'm no longer in radio. Our old boss Rob and our good friend Big Al hit me up earlier in the week. They're like, "Man, we've been meaning to get together with you. Can you do Wednesday or Thursday?" And I was like, "Well, I have to go to the dump on Wednesday. I'm very influential." So we got together and we had a blast. We went over to Philly's Lounge, bar and grill there, and Tara, beautiful bartender and server, took great care of us, and we had a blast. We had a blast. Our first server, when she came up, it was just Rob and I made some joke, and then Rob went, "Yeah, I'm the first person to ever fire him." And then said, "Gotcha, bitch!" And then the joking all took off from there, and it was
good. Okay,
yeah, no, it was
occurred after that. No, you think that's funny, huh, radio boy? Bang, and then took him. Okay,
because as I've said on this show many times, there's nothing personal. It was a corporate decision. I think he was more upset than I was, but it was we had a good time, and then when the pictures started coming out, my phone erupted. Are you back? Are you coming back to the building? Are you coming back? Like, no, no, I'm not. I made my demands. There was no job offered, but I was like, just in case you would like to offer me a job, this is what I want to have a job. I want all the things. And I go, that way we can just get right back to drinking. And that's what we did. We hung out and it was a good time. We had a blast.
There you go. For the social media sleuths, the rumors, the
I do want to point out one thing that did happen is they made sure that I was still going to do the fantasy football league, and I go, "Oh look, I've already signed up," and the name of my team is Rift because that was what it was called, was a reduction in force. Oh my gosh! And Rob did not find that as funny as I did.
The team name in that league is Podcasts Are Cool. I would have liked to quit if I could have figured out how to quit, but I'm in it anyways. That's right. So squashing the rumors, the innuendos, the social media rumblings. You are not going back to radio in 2026. You've said that on the show before. As of right now, this is Friday, August 21st. For those seeing that phone, I'm like, oh, Levack's going back, or there's something. No. 2027.
There's been no offer made, too. I mean, if the right offer was made, I'll go back tomorrow. But, well, not tomorrow because I got to pack, and everything. No, I mean, but it's just those are guys who became good friends. I think Big Al feels very responsible for me being fired since he's the one who begged me to come back to radio the first time. But no, it was cool. It was a good time. Lots of crap was talked, lots of it, and it's just funny to me. Like I knew there was people in the building that still love me. I mean, there's like 4 people left in the building. I knew there was people that still love me. But as soon as they saw that picture, man, oh, what does this mean? It means that we went to happy hour and had some beers and chilled out and ate some wings. That's what it means. And I'm not coming back. And it's like, no. It's like, oh, man, you missed me. That's cute. Or were you just hoping I was going to say no and that it all worked out?
You're a far high roader, better than me, sitting down for that beer. That's the second time I've seen somebody in radio sit down with somebody who fired him in radio. And I know, again, it's corporate and everything else. We were there, and I don't mind saying this is public information. You and I did a trip years ago when Rick Stroud, the legendary writer down there in Tampa, was sitting with Rock Mamola, who's the PD at that point, and that's how they introduced themselves. Like, yeah, Rock fired me. I was like, ooh, this is going to be an interesting night. Let's not leave. And then Bruce Gradkowski showed up, got hammered, started barking out signals and calls. It was a great night. But some people can never do what you just did. I want to make sure that's acknowledged. People would be like, you did what with who? That's what catches people off guard.
Well, it's like if you get shot, are you mad at the gun or the person who pulled the trigger? Like it's not. Rob, our boss, didn't let us go because he wanted to let us go. He let us go because they did that massive layoff across the country. And then everybody's like, well, you must hate iHeart. I'm like, dude, this is Scorpion and the Frog. All my life, all I've heard is that company makes big cuts from time to time, and I survived 3 of them in the 3 years that we were there. So It is what it is. It's the scorpion and the frog. Why'd you sting me? Because I'm a scorpion. Like, why'd you cut me? Because I'm corporate America. Oh, okay, all right, yeah, I knew that. I knew that when I got in here.
I will say this about the future 6 to 12 months. Audio audience who doesn't watch this on YouTube, you've noticed no difference. Like our content's still coming from the same feed. The RS,
Yeah.
the show's a little shorter. You got a lot less commercials for the iHeart. Right. You know, but you're still getting content once a day, and probably you're like, oh, less commercial. They're promoting local people instead of national. Cool. I like this format anyways. I get my hour for going in and back. Cool. This is staying. I will tell that to whoever else. If there's ever an offer that comes through for radio, like this will be the format. And they're like, oh, they're going to jump back at something. No. If you're listening on a podcast or YouTube, that's the new. This part is staying. If this show appears audio-wise on a radio station, cool. You probably heard it on the podcast or YouTube first. That is the new evolution of this since we own this content. That's me claiming that if you're watching on the visual side. Levack didn't agree to that, but let's put that like that.
No, I think
that's what I would say. That's a mistake I probably made 4 years ago with this content.
I think some of the things you said are very true. I would be lying if I told you that I wasn't exploring all options for us and for myself, but for both. And if I were to take a job that didn't immediately include Gaz, this would stay. If I was to take a job that did include Gaz, well, there's a price for everything. If you want all the things, you pay for all the things. If you want some of the things, you pay for some of the things, and then we do the other things ourselves. All I ask is be open-minded. Because like I said, you got that great job, Bill's Game Day with God.
I'm currently employee of Cumulus. That's right.
Yeah.
I'm a part-time employee of Cumulus. So I'm employed by a once-a-week gig for another radio station, my old station. Right.
Right. But that doesn't include all the things. So that's one of the things. Now, if I did the same thing over here, we would still do this. But if I did find a way to put Levack and Gaz back on airways and this and everything else, I would definitely explore it for us, and then we would meet and discuss and see what we could do. I will tell you that some of the things I've been working on behind the scenes. I'm workshopping a bunch of different ideas and businesses and things, and I said some of them yesterday just to see how they'd be received, and eyes got wide. So the future is not dark. I will tell you that. I don't know if it's going to be radio. I don't know if it's going to be, but there will always be some form of content. I think saying that we would never do a radio version of the show again might be short-sighted. That's all. I didn't say
that. That's not what I said.
You kind of said it.
I said this content would stay. I never said.
Oh, okay. I thought you meant like we're only going to do an hour and we're only going to do that. And
no, I said this consumption of content. I don't want people to be like, oh, they're going to be back in radio in 4 months and turning off the podcast. No, like this is staying.
Well, that would be stupid anyway, because I think the podcast will always be better than the radio show because we talk as long as there's something to talk about and we get out. Whereas on radio, you talk as long as you're supposed to, or you get fired. And we did both actually. But yeah, but it was a good time, and it's just good to know that there's still good people in radio and local, and it was fun. It was good. I enjoyed myself. And I don't know where Philly's Bar and Grill finds their servers, but they're not unattractive. I'll put it like that. They're not unattractive women. It's when they come to the table carrying beers, it's like something out of a Billy Madison fever dream. It's not a bad time. So
the next time you and I talk will be Monday, August 31st, and then that is officially, as I'm calling it for my youth flag football team, game day week. Actually, next week's game week, because we'll get into week 1 of college football. That Friday, so what is that, the 4th? We'll have our official release of the NFL season preview show, so that'll take us into Labor Day weekend. So we're really getting a game day coverage. But before that, again, 3 days of content next week. Bill's game day on that Thursday. We'll be off for that. You're off to Disney. Did you see what 90s kid hit with us?
Yeah.
Do comments for
I have an issue. I have multiple issues with this. I'll read
the tweet first. Oh, you want to read it? Go ahead.
All right, I'll read it. How has Gaz not made fun of Levack for being a Disney adult? The plus-size park hopper jokes write themselves. If the roles were reversed, Levack would be restless. Gaz may be a better person than Levack. Okay, let me break this down in pieces. The fact that Disney, I find joy in Disney, and the people hate that I find joy in Disney is hysterical to me. I'm sorry that your life is so shallow and empty that you hate that I enjoy Disney. Okay, if you were paying for me to go, that's fine. But the picking on me for being a Disney adult, that's not enough. It has to be the plus size park hopper. I've lost 70 pounds, you jackass. How dare you? I'm trying. I have a glandular problem. Um, that sucked. And I've never disputed that Gaz is a better person than me. I've never disputed that. Like I have my I'm a better this is what I'll say, and you can dispute it all you want. I'm a better person off the air. Gaz is a better person on the air. I go out of my way to do nice things for people off the air, and then Gaz goes, "Oh, that was cool that you did that," and then Gaz will do nice things for them on the air. I would say that's the difference.
I think he meant for restless, relentless. I'm sure he got auto corrected there. That's what I mean by his tweet there.
I'm sorry that you don't know how to write. Okay, that's also on you, you jerk.
90s kid always cracks me up, man. Look at your in DMs, 90s kid. I want you in that fantasy football league. I'm sure you'll some funny content.
I don't want you there. What was up the plus size park hopper part? That was where we, and yeah, if you want to pick on me for being a Disney adult, I'm fine with it. But I can also tell you why he's not picking on me for it. Because I have, and this is not a conversation that we've had, but based on conversations that we have had, Gaz is now interested in bringing his family to Disney. He wasn't previously to maybe like this year. I think he's seen some of the things I'm doing. He's looked at his boys and the way they enjoy things. And Gaz is trying to figure out how to make a family trip for the Gazlowski clan work in Disney. And for that reason, he's not willing to pick on me right now because he knows that in the next 6 to 8 months, he's probably going to announce that they're going to Disney as a family. And he knows that I would go both barrels on his ass at that point.
That's exactly right. It's somebody who 90s kid I got sniffed out. That's one of two reasons. That's probably the leader in the clubhouse, as Levack knows. Like when it comes to religion and all this stuff, I believe in karma, and there's some greater. You do good for other people, it's going to come back to you and everything else. Most of the time off the air, I'm okay to most people. I'm a little slower to do those things. Or
you're not mean to people. You just like. I think maybe it's because I'm such a dick on the air that I feel like I have to be a better person off the air. Maybe that's what I don't know. But
you're good.
You're not like bad to people, but I go out of my way. Like I'll volunteer to do stuff, and you're like, "What? Why are we volunteering? Shouldn't we be getting paid for that?" I'm like, "Dude, it's a charity. It's our friend. Let's just go." And then
oh God, they're not gonna pay us with real monies, with human monies. The second,
but I also have an adult child who has a career versus your 3 children that you have to support. So it all adds up in the end.
Yeah, and the other part is like I think Cantera gives you grief and quit everything. Yeah. I feel like people have covered the adult Disney thing enough with you. I'm like, I don't need to join that crew. There's enough people doing the adult Disney thing. And I believe this is my mother-in-law who wanted this advice, and I actually do believe this. As long as you're not hurting kids and puppies and you get joy out of something, I don't care. If you're out there, if you're watching movies, you're doing Disney, you're, I don't know, planting a garden, mowing your lawn, whatever your hobbies are that you enjoy and you're not hurting anybody else, I don't give a shit what you do. Right. As long as you're happy, you're not hurting anybody else, I don't care. Whatever. Do whatever you want.
Plus, remember, I tried the cruise thing. Like, I tried it, and it was awful. It was one of the worst experiences of my life, and I've had a shitty life. So, like, this is where I enjoy it. I have fun. And I will say this to you, 90s kid, and anyone else. I don't know that I'll be back at Disney until the Villains Park opens up.
Ooh, that looks pretty cool on social.
So that'll be like 3 years or so, probably. At least it'll be at least 2 years before I go back because I have to save up and all that fun stuff. But I challenge any of you who mock me and my adulthood and my manliness for being a Disney adult. I challenge any of you to join me for a day at Epcot. You drink around the world with me and you're still standing at the end, which I will be, or I'll be in a motorized cruiser, as a plus size park hopper. You make it country to country with me, and then you can talk shit. But until then, you ain't gonna make it, son. I'll just tell you this. Many of my friends have been left 3 to 5 countries behind me as I finished out and chugging beers in Canada while you're still sitting back in the US, my friends. Okay. So don't sing it, bring it, and then you can talk about me being a Disney adult. All right.
Congratulations, 90s kid. You got a DM with the Fantasy Football League invite as well. The trash talk can continue all fall long with
Delete
you
it.
two. You can make it
Delete
that
it.
rivalry week.
Delete it. He's out. Now, actually, you know what? He's in, but I need to know what his real name is and his home address and last four of his social and his mother's maiden name. That's it. That's the only way he's in. That's the only way.
Walt Chamberlain, WALT. Enjoy Disney, my friend. You're going to have an awesome time. Send pictures. Happy birthday. The big 5-0 is next week for you. Enjoy all that stuff. We will get together at some point and have some beers to celebrate together as well when we're back.
For my birthday,
yes.
Can you get me a Tom Gozlowski number 50 Hobart jersey made? Can you get one made for me? Is that for me?
No.
Oh my God. I'd rock the wheels off that. I wouldn't fit in it right now.
I'm working on something for you. I actually am. I did get you a gift.
You have to give me
I did get you a gift.
Your friendship is the only gift I need, Thomas. That's it.
I needed people's helps, and by people's helps, that's all I'm going to leave you with. I'll just leave it there.
Do you have my daughter's number? I don't know.
That's all I'll leave it with. Again, next week we got college football preview season edition. We got fantasy football. We have something else. Oh, Travers, Closer, Champagne, Sean Martin, Brian Drake, some people that will be filling it. And you'll be back.
You know how you know it's
August
Travers?
31st.
You know how you know it's Travers? I'm leaving. I don't want any part. I love watching Travers on my phone. That's what I'll be watching. Travers on my phone down in Disney World. That's where I'll be. I was at that Saturday. I think I'll be at Epcot for the second time because we're gonna go. So we get there Monday. We're gonna go Disney Springs. We're gonna go to the fireworks at Magic Kingdom. Tuesday's Animal Kingdom. Wednesday is my birthday. That'll be Epcot. Then Hollywood Studios and probably Magic Kingdom again, and then Epcot, and then so I got 6 days of passes, and I'll be back on Sunday most likely. I mean, my family does live in Tampa, so I could probably just kind of hide for a little bit longer.
And when you get back, well-enjoyed trip. When you get back, football cranks up, sponsorships, live shows. It is officially fall. We are going to be hitting a new level, and get ready, man. It'll be exciting stuff on the way.
I know you enjoy these. I don't know if people will be able to watch it in time. I literally whiffed the last time I gave out one of my home run parlays. I have a home run parlay for you today if you want it.
Of course, yes, please.
If you're interested. 3-pick parlay. Matt Olson. I know he's going up against the Miz. But when the dude throws 102, 104 miles per hour, all you got to do is barrel that thing up, and it's going to go over the wall. I got Rafael Devers. I think he still hates Boston, so I think he tries to put one over the monster. And then Corey Seager. It's a 3-leg home run parlay. I got $5 on it, bringing back about $900.
Hey, I like that.
That's what I'm working on, right? That's what I got for today. If that happens, I'm eating steak at Epcot. Steak and hibachi. Oh.
Seager, Olsen,
and Devers.
Okay. I will text you, even though I know you're going to be busy on your phone, and this will be out on content. The amazing college football 25,001 parlay officially gets announced next week.
Oh, let's go! All right,
I'll give you my final one.
I'm riding. I got to ride. You won it 2 years ago, so I gotta ride it. So we'll be in it. All right, man. I got stuff to do, man.
Well, have fun.
I'm waiting.
See you in a week.
Guys, since I'm going to Disney, I'm a Disney adult. I can't say frickin'. So, guys, would you please be so kind as to hit the bleeping button?